Hi everyone, welcome to another one of my LinkedIn live events. So today's event is a bit impromptu. I wasn't actually planning on doing it, but because my life coach training and monetization program is coming up this month, I have been getting quite a few questions about people from people who want to get into life coaching as a career, but they have doubts about whether this career is the one for them. Is it right or not? Or even if it is right, how do they make it a sustainable thing? And questions like that, because even today life coaching as a career tends to be a bit unstructured, and because coaching industry itself is quite unregulated, there are a lot of examples of cringy coaches and coaches who are scammy, and coaches who don't really know what they're doing, but they're just calling themselves a coach, or influencers who just call themselves a life coach, and when you really talk to them and look at them, you're like, oh my god. So there are a lot of notions about coaching as a career, because again it is an unregulated industry, and even the ones who are very sincere in their work and they do want to go into coaching, and they're very motivated by it, and they really do want to create an impact, they also feel a little bit hesitant. They also feel a little bit, I would say, there is a lot of reservations about it, right? So that's why I wanted to come and share with you what exactly is life coaching as a career like, what is the scope, what is the path, what are the skills you actually need. But before all of that, I want to share my own story with you, as in how did I realize that I wanted to be a life coach. What is the path that I took to come to a point where I make sustainable impact and income as a coach, as well as I'm in a career that I actually love, right? Despite coaching still being a bit unregulated and a bit unstructured. So I'll just quickly take a moment to see whether my audio and video is fine, and then we will begin. And if you are someone who is attending this live, but you may have to leave in the middle, you don't have to worry about it, because all the live events I've been recently doing, I'm uploading them on YouTube, and they are also available on LinkedIn under the events section as a recording, so you can also watch them on your own time. And it's evening right now, so I may have to get up to sort of turn on my lights in a while. So just just letting you guys know. I think it is audible and visible. Okay, yeah, it is. All right, great. I feel like I'm coming on here after so long, because recently I've been a bit, I would say, busy, because of which I could not do my live events. Anyway, so how did I actually decide that I wanted to be a life coach, and how did I actually do it? So I'll tell you what. I was a psychology student, okay, and traditionally speaking, my original career path was to become a therapist. Okay, I wanted to be a therapist, but as and when I studied more and more, and I got I got introduced to what the curriculum of psychology these days in India is still so regressive, still so outdated. I realized that I did not want to go into this field because of two reasons. One, the curriculum was still very outdated. Like, I not only spoke to a lot of therapists, and I found that their work sort of lacked depth. Again, not all of them, but at least a lot of them that I spoke to. I felt like that work was still, very regulated, and instead of regulated, I would say very restricted by the guidelines that was given by RCI. And I was like, I don't believe in this, because a lot of personal growth of mine happened under coaching sessions. So I have been to a therapist as well as a coach both, and what I found was that the growth that I had with a life coach was 100 times more impactful than I had with a therapist. So one factor was that. Second was, I did not really agree with the curriculum that was being taught to psychology students. Me being a psychology student myself, and I studied it for 5 years, I was like, you know what, this is not agreeing to me, and I don't feel that this is the kind of work I actually want to do. But by then I did not know that life coaching could be a sustainable career for me. So I decided that, okay, I will go into human resources, because I thought that if not clinical psychology, which is what you have to pursue to become a psychologist, I would go into industrial psychology. So industrial psychology is very close to human resources. So I went there, and I got a job. And when I got a job, I started working. I realized that, oh my god, this work is something I don't want to do. And moreover, what I realized was that my favorite part of the work that I was doing, which was in human resources, was talking to people and helping them realize what they really wanted, right? I was a very good listener. Obviously, I was very empathetic as well. So I realized that my strength lied in helping people solve their own interpersonal problems more than the recruitment part of human resources or any other part. Even, even in human resources, what I felt more aligned to was organization development and leadership development and all of that. And it showed that I had to do this work for 15 years, and then I would be able to go to that leadership development position, all of that. So I realized what I did not want and what I want. What I did not want was the work that I was doing. What I did want was, I liked creating impact in people's lives. In fact, that was the only thing that I liked in the work that I was doing. So because I realized it, and around the time I was also working with a life coach, I decided that I had two options. So at that point of time, I had admit to my master's degree, which was again in human resources. It was in one of the world's top 10 universities. And when I started doing my job, that admit started feeling very meaningless. I started realizing that I don't know what I'm doing or why I want to do this master's at all, because I clearly don't like the work that I'm doing, and I want to go to a different country. I want to pursue my master's there, and then I want to continue doing this work that I have zero interest in, and I know that, right? So I knew that this is what not what I wanted. So I had to sit with myself and first accept that the path that I'm on is not the path I want to be on anymore, right? Second is, one of the reasons I went to my coach was I told him that whatever it is that I'm doing, it's making me sick. Like, I don't want to do it. I hate the work that I'm doing. And that is when I finally came to the courageous realization that coaching is something I actually do want to get into. Right. But I had three major problems. Okay. More than problems, I would say three major questions. The first question was of stability, because coaching tends to be an unregulated industry still. Either people are obsessed with monetization, or they're obsessed with certification. Nobody really is telling you a structured way in how to actually get trained as a coach as well as monetize it, right? Like, it's a mess. So I had a question about that. My second question was about the skill set. Like, I didn't really know what kind of skill set I needed. And the third question, or more than question, the limitation I had was my own personal growth, because I had a lot of fears at that time around being in a business, starting your online business, or whether it will be a sustainable thing or not. Because again, coaching itself is still a very unheard career of, like, even like at least now it's still very popular. Now it has become popular, but when I started around 2.5 years back, it still wasn't really something that was something people knew about, right? So what I did was that first I got trained as a coach, okay? And then the one thing that I did that actually worked for me, which I see a lot of coaches don't do, is that I invested in my education as well as in my personal growth a lot. So I not only hired a one-on-one coach to sort of help me come out of my own problems, but I also invested in my coaching education, which means that I got trained in different modalities, right? At present, I'm not only trained in childhood trauma work and intergenerational trauma work, I have also been a mindset coach in the past, so which is something that I also work, that I also bring today. I bring breath work, I bring somatic healing and other modalities. So I invested in both of them. Another thing that I realized very quickly was that just because I'm a coach doesn't mean that I also know how to run a business. See, you have to understand that coaching is a skill is separate, and being able to monetize coaching as a skill is a separate skill. Okay. So I learned how to coach. Okay. And because there was this innate drive to sort of create impact, I became a good coach very quickly. But how the hell do you monetize coaching, right? So that was a question. So I also invested in learning how to coach in a way that is that I'm able to monetize it in a way where it is sustainable to me, right? So I invested in my coach education first, then simultaneously I was working on my one-on-one personal growth, and then I invested in being able to monetize coaching as a skill. And that is a path that we traditionally follow as well. So think of it like, let's say you are an engineer. You first learn engineering as a skill in your college, and then you again learn more and more skills. You invest in certifications and yada yada yada, and then you're able to monetize it. Like, then you're able to get a job. So it's the same thing with coaching. You learn coaching as a skill, right? And then you learn how to monetize it. Now, this was the path that I followed. Okay, I became a coach. I kept learning. I invested in my one-on-one coaching as well, because that is a very imperative thing for a coach as well as a business owner. Otherwise, your own limitations will, eat up your time and eat up your energy, and you will not really move forward with your coaching career. So that was what my path was like. Now, I want to talk to you about what exactly is a structured way to become a life coach, like from scratch. I'm going to assume that you're a professional, or maybe you are someone who's an aspiring coach and you don't really know how to go about it. So I'm going to assume that, and I'm going to tell you a step by step way how to become that and how to do that. I wish I knew this when I started, because in the beginning it was a mess for me. I did not really know what to do and where to go, because there was no one who told me, directly that this is what you are supposed to do. This is the education you get in coaching, and this is how you actually monetize it. Either people were focused on one thing, which is either coaches were focusing on getting you certification, or some were focused on just monetization. I wanted a blend of both, and that is one of the reasons the life coach training and monetization program I'm launching this month for people who want to become coaches, I have included both the assets, because this is something that I wanted. I wanted to not only learn coaching, but I also wanted my trainer and my coach to help me monetize it. And that is exactly what I will be teaching you when you enroll into the program. So if you're an aspiring coach and you want to be in a lifetime coaching container, wherein you not only learn how to be a coach, you get your training, you get your certificate, but you also learn how to monetize it. This program is perfect for you. So I'm actually doing a free webinar on 22nd June, and I will be walking you through the entire program as well. And if you're interested in actually becoming a six-figure coach, you can just join our community called the Empowered Coach. You will find the link for that in the feature section of my profile, and you will be added to the group where the webinar is going to happen. Anyway, coming back to the point which I was talking about, what is the path? See, you have to understand that when you want to become a life coach, you must understand that coaching is a separate skill. Okay. I'm saying this because I got a question in my community session that I do inside my Empowered Coach community every week, that can I just help people with my life experiences? I have so much experience and I can just understand people's feelings. And to that I want to say that that is a great addition, right, to the course skill set of coaching, but that does not make you a coach. That just simply makes you a person who likes to help people, or who is very keen on giving advices. You must understand that coaching is a skill in itself. Okay, think of it like this. Let's say that I want to be a chartered accountant. Okay, I want to help people with their, auditing, with the balance sheet, and whatever CAs do. And I'm telling you that, you know what, I'm very passionate about numbers. I'm very passionate about helping you get your business right. But when it comes to actually doing the core work that a CA does, which is the auditing, balancing the sheet, and everything else I do, I don't know that. So what does that make me? That makes me a fraud, right? So it doesn't matter if you like helping people or whatever it is that you want to do. You are not a coach unless you actually get trained as a coach. Okay, unless you actually learn the skill of coaching. Just the way I will not be a chartered accountant until I actually get trained in it, until I actually appear for my exams, until I actually practice it, right? Simply being passionate about numbers is not going to make me a CA. Similarly, simply being passionate about helping people is not going to make you a life coach. And even if you want to call yourself that, because I do see a lot of people who don't want to invest money into their education because they're so afraid, they do that. And when they do, what tends to happen is they don't actually make any kind of money from it, they don't actually make any kind of career from it, and they ultimately quit. So if you are wondering about that, please understand that coaching is a skill, so you first have to get trained in it. Okay, I'm not telling you to be obsessed about certificates, because again, I have heard one more question like this from people, that should I get this certificate? Should I get that certificate? And to that, my answer to that is always learn how to coach. Okay, get trained in it. Whether you have the certificate or not, I don't care about that. It makes zero difference. I have so many certificates. Okay, I'm trained in multiple things, but I don't obsess over my certificates because it means nothing, right? What what actually makes a difference is, can I help my client or not? Can I take my client from point A to point B or not? If I'm not able to do that, my certificate is useless. So it doesn't matter where you get certified from, I don't care about that. Your job is to learn how to coach effectively. Okay, your job is to actually get trained. Your certificate guarantees nothing. I have met broke coaches who keep on tooting their horn about certificates for 2 years, 3 years, but they don't have any clients, or they have very unsustainable business. So it doesn't matter what certificate you have. I want you to drop that uh, you know race behind certificates. It means nothing. Coaching is a business, okay? And in business, unlike a job, people don't give a shit about your certificates, excuse my language. They care about whether you can help them or not, right? And when I say help, I don't mean the intention to help, but having the actual skill to help. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to get trained in the skill of coaching, okay? Now, the second thing you need to learn after you're done getting trained, after you've gotten your certificate and all of that, you've completed your coaching education, you need to learn business skills. See, coaching is a separate skill, and how to monetize coaching is a separate skill. It's a business skill. So once you've done this part, you've gotten trained as a coach, you've completed your coaching education, wherever you do it from. You do it under me, you do it from someone else, I don't care. Once you've done that, the second part is learning how to do a business, learning how to create an offer, learning how to sell, learning how to actually talk to your clients, learning how to coach effectively different type of clients, learning how to handle objections. All of these are business skills, right? Learning how to create content that converts, all of this. So again, what I have seen, what a lot of coaches do, and again, it's not their fault, because what tends to happen is that a lot of coaching certification I don't know what to call it, institutions, yeah, coaching education institutions, what they do is they sell you a dream. Okay, they sell you a dream that once you become a coach, that's it. But in reality, that's just one part of the equation. Okay, no matter how many certificates you get, you will not get clients until you actually learn business skills, right? So once you are trained, you need to learn how to monetize your training, you need to learn how to monetize your coaching, right? For example, if I am a potter, I've learned how to make beautiful clay pots and all of that, and I'm sitting at my home thinking, oh my god, I'm such a great potter, one day I will be a millionaire, right? But I'm not actually going out there and selling. I don't know how to market my pottery, I don't know how to put myself out there, I'm so scared of selling, I'm so scared of charging, I don't know how to charge, right? So what is going to happen? I'm just going to be a broke talented potter, which is something that I see in coaches a lot. They're very talented, but they don't want to learn business skills, right? So please don't be one of those. Okay, once you've learned your, coaching skills, once you're done with your education, work with a coach that you trust in. You can work with anyone. Even I mentor coaches, even I mentor life coaches to have a sustainable six-figure business. If you would like to work with me, you can, DM me business coaching as well. But again, I don't care who you work with, but please learn business skills, and specifically work with someone who has a life coaching business of their own. And why I'm telling you this is because I actually had a few people come to me and tell me that, Rianshi, we joined some silver membership and this membership of some business coach, and they just told us to make a course and put it out there. We did it, and obviously it was a waste of money. Another thing was that one person told me that I worked with someone who tells that they're a business coach, but they have never really run a business of their own, and I realized it late. And I was a bit surprised. Okay, but I understand. Okay, I really understand. So please make sure that when you are working with a business coach as well, first is make sure that they are a life coach. They actually know how to run a life coaching business. Why? Because when you're working with a business coach who has been a life coach themselves, you can not only discuss your business problems, you can discuss your client case studies. They will have first hand experience in doing a life coaching business. Second, okay, only work with people who have run a business of their own. I cannot stress this enough, because this is like an MLM scheme. If you come to me, okay, and I tell you that I'm a business coach, and I tell you that, you know what, my business is being a business coach, what is that? Right? It's like an MLM scheme. So please don't fall for that. Okay, always work with people who actually have experience in running a business for themselves. Okay, because this will ensure that they not only have credibility, they have first hand experience in helping you, right? So that's the path. First step, get your training education. Second, learn how to monetize your coaching education, right? Get trained. learn how to monetize that training. Now you can either do it under one umbrella, under one person, again that's your choice. You can do it under different people, again that's your choice. One of the reasons why I'm offering both coaching plus monetization in the certification and training program that I'm launching this month is because I don't want people to feel confused after they've gotten trained as a coach. Because this is something, again, I've seen happen. People get trained, okay, they find mentors, they get trained, and then they're like, okay, now what? And now they have to spend even more money to learn how to monetize it. I didn't want people to go through that because I've been at the other end and I hated it. Okay, it took me a lot of time to figure everything out. So if you're someone who wants to learn getting your coaching education plus learning how to monetize it under the same program, you're very welcome to join me, right? Okay. So the second thing is, what are the skills you actually require? So let's talk about skills under coaching, right? So a few signs that I can tell you that would make a good coach is, first is you are someone who's impact driven. Okay, you are someone who actually wants to serve people. You are someone who actually wants to create an impact. If you go into coaching thinking that, oh my god, there's a lot of money in it, there is money, of course, but if you just go with that, you will give up on coaching very easily. I'll tell you that straight away. Because when you are coaching, you must understand that you are helping people solve a problem, which means that what you're really doing is you're serving. And if you're not interested in serving, coaching is simply not for you. Okay, so if like wanting to make money is a great thing. In fact, I encourage coaches that you should be abundant coaches, but only going into coaching for that is going to be a very bad idea. You're going to crash and burn very easily, or you may give up on your business, right? So first is, if you're impact driven, you will make an excellent coach. Second is that you are someone who has empathy. Now, empathy as a skill, is the ability to feel other people's emotions. See, I'm not saying that if you are not empathetic as a person, naturally you will not make a good coach. But personally, I have found that if you are a naturally empathetic person, it will be very easy for you to learn coaching as a skill and become a successful coach as well. Why? Because if you see, you can nurture empathy. If you're someone who feels that maybe I'm not naturally empathetic, you can simply nurture empathy by getting yourself coached, working on your own personal growth. That will naturally lead to you developing empathy. But if you're someone who's a natural empath, which means that you're someone who understands other people's feeling very easily, you can feel what other person is feeling. If you are a natural empath, then it will be very easy for you to be a coach. Now, the third point, which is something which is very least talked about, and a skill I have seen in most successful coaches, is the ability to invest in yourself. Now, why I'm saying this? See, I have been in group programs as well. Okay, I have started, coaching as a journey with certain people, and I have seen them not like seen them giving up their coaching careers or not actually thriving in it. And one thing that I have found is that they're very afraid of investing in themselves. Right? They're very afraid of either putting money in or putting time in or putting energy. Mostly, it's the money part. And I don't know why that could be the reason. Right? That is something I'm not concerned with. But you have to understand that as a coach, your investment is your brain. Okay, because your business is coming from your brain. That you have to understand. We are not running a cafe here. We are not running a clothing shop here. We are not running a, let's say, a bakery here, right? When you're a baker, your investment is equipment, raw materials, like eggs, milk, and whatever. If you're running a cafe, your investment is a land, a chair, table, again equipment. If you're running a clothing shop, your investment is the inventory you get in. As a life coach, your investment is in expanding your brain, because your business is directly coming from brain first. Second is, coaching is a nervous system business, which means that when you are working with clients, your clients will not come to you because of some fancy website or fancy content. Your client will come to you because they feel safe with you. And your safety, your inner sense of safety, will only come from getting yourself coached, which means you have to invest in one-on-one coaching for yourself to overcome your personal growth obstacles. Second is, you should be willing to invest in your business as well. Now, how do you invest in your business? You learn how to market. You, and again, organically, I'm not telling you to go invest in ads. In fact, if you have not made your first 7 figures, I don't recommend doing ads. You need to first learn organically how to do things. And if you're running a one person coaching business like me, or if you aspire to run a one person coaching business like me, you must learn how to do things organically. Okay, so that is how you invest in your life coaching business. One is, you invest in your personal growth, which is hiring a one-on-one coach for yourself. Work on your traumas, work on your personal growth issues, learn how to charge higher, learn the art of selling. And second is, you invest in your business. by learning how to market, learning how to write content, learning how to talk to people, learning how to sell effortlessly, and other things, right? So if you cannot do that for whatever reason, then coaching is not for you. Because what will happen is that you will be one of those people who will simply get a certificate, and then you will decide that, okay, that's it, I will sit at home. And that's not how it works. Okay, you have to learn how to actually monetize, no, and actually have to invest in yourself. It's like saying that, I have, learned how to bake from a culinary school, and I want to open a cafe, and I bought the land, and I have set up the business, but I don't want to buy chair and table. I don't want to hire a chef. I don't want to hire waiters because I'm too afraid. Then that's not really a business, is it? Right? So that's the same thing with coaching. So if you are someone who's into that, so I would say that when you do work with your one-on-one coach, your coach will be able to help you come out of this scarcity mindset of not investing in yourself. But please remember that if you're doing a business, that is something you're gonna need to do. All right. So this is in terms of life coaching. Now let's talk about the skills that you might need as a coach when it comes to actually doing a business. So the very first thing that I recommend that you must learn as a coach, that is something that I struggled with in the beginning, was the art of selling. See, if you're a coach, you need to sell, because you are only going to get clients if you sell. You're only going to be a six-figure coach if you sell. If you're just a coach, you're just writing random positive quotes out there, and just trying to get followers and all of that, it's not going to actually result into you making money or creating an impact. You must learn the art of selling. And when I say art of selling, I don't mean cringy selling, I don't mean sending 100 DMs and all of that, right? I mean selling in a way that feels okay with your nervous system. But you need to learn how to sell. When I began my coaching business, I remember saying this to my coach, that you know what, I love every part of a business. I like creating content. I like to learn. I even want to invest in my business. I want to do all of those things. Even though at that time I sort of took a loan from my father to invest in my business, but I don't like selling, right? Because for me, selling was like, oh my god, this is some pushy salesy activity, and why do I have to do it? Why can't just people find out I have so much value? Why can't they just work with me like that? And obviously that was you know like a belief system problem. That was me having a fixed mindset about selling. But when I learned how to sell effortlessly, obviously not only my impact grew, my revenue grew as well, right? So the very first thing I recommend learning as a life coach after you've done your coaching education is learning how to sell. And then there are obvious skills like how to create an offer, how to market yourself in a way that feels comfortable to you, and creating a business on your own terms, right? So one good thing about being a life coach these days is that you can run a business online. You don't really have to invest into land or anything of that sort, into an office as well. And all you need to do is you need to be able to create a business that resonates with you. And I'll tell you why. So this is coming from, again, one of the conversations I was having with a coach a while back. And they were telling me, you know what, Rianshi, I just have 1,200 followers on LinkedIn. How will I get clients and all of that? And then I told them that I have actually seen people with 45,000 followers, 50,000 followers, and having zero income from their coaching, or hardly having any income from their coaching. And I know coaches with 400, 500 followers who make thousands of dollars. Because you must understand that coaching is not a popularity contest. Okay, people don't buy coaching from you, or people don't want to work with you as a coach because you're popular, or you post vacation pictures, or you are posting like toxic positive content, or you're getting viral. None of that. That's the beauty of the coaching industry. People buy from you when they see value in your work. So if you have 500 followers, even 5 followers, they are potential clients. Okay. And how you actually build trust with your clients as well, or build trust in your social media as well, is when you write for your ideal clients. And this is again a skill that you will learn in the training program as well, or if you work with me one-on-one for your business coaching as well. But this is a skill. Okay, you have to make your social media, you have to make your social media profile about your life coaching in a way wherein when clients come and visit you, they get value, not toxic positive content or viral content. So forget the numbers, forget how many followers you have. Even to this date, I have I think 18,000 followers. A lot of my posts just receive what, 5 or 10 likes. A lot of my posts receives hardly any comments, right? Yet people do buy from me because I know that my followers mean absolutely nothing. People may follow me for whatever reason they're following. Doesn't mean that they will actually buy from me. And I'm not looking to be a popular coach. I am looking to be an impactful and highly paid coach, right? So you must understand this simple fact. Okay. So when you are done with your coach training, you must understand, you know, business in this way. And again, this is not rocket science. Okay. When it comes to life coaching, any skill, be it the skill of coaching or running a business, it is not rocket science. It is about your ability to be committed. And this is something I was just talking about a while back in the community sessions I do. And by the way, if you're not inside my community called the Empowered Coach community, you can DM me and I will add you to the group. And I have also uploaded all the sessions on YouTube, so you can just go watch it. I've I think uploaded about 10 or 12 videos so far now, and all of them are full of valuable content. So you have 12 hours worth of education cut out for you already. Okay, coming back to the point. What was I saying? I forgot what was I saying. Okay, so yes, the next thing was nervous system expansion. I kind of forgot what I was saying, so I'll just go with the next topic. So, what is nervous system expansion, right? Nervous system expansion is your ability to hold space. Okay, your ability to charge high, your ability to hold space for the people who are coming into your energy as well, right? Now, one thing that a lot of people tend to ask me is that, "Yanshi, how do I charge high? I feel nervous, I feel this and that." That is when I often ask them that, have you actually worked on your nervous system capacity? See, because when you are charging a certain level, you have to have that nervous system capacity within you, which means that you need to feel safe and you need to feel comfortable charging that. And the only coach who will feel comfortable charging a certain amount of money is someone who has invested that into themselves, right? If I am someone who's not even invested 50,000 in my education, I will not be able to charge that to a client, right? So nervous system expansion happens like that. It happens through, one, obviously getting yourself coached in one-on-one coaching sessions. Second is, the investment you make in your own coach will make you feel comfortable charging that to your clients, right? So nervous system expansion is also a very big tool, as well as a very least talked about topic when it comes to charging a certain amount. Charging a certain amount doesn't come from tricks or hacks. Okay, if that were the case, then everyone will copy that. It comes from feeling safe inside your body, feeling comfortable charging, and not feeling the rush to give discounts, or doing people pleasing to your client, or feeling, oh my god, what will my client think of me, and stuff like that. So if you're someone who actually wants to charge a certain level, invest in one-on-one coaching, and invest in expanding your brain and nervous system capacity, right? Okay. Now, before I talk about the last topic, which is the scope of life coaching as a business, I will just see if I have any questions so far. I think not. If you guys have any questions, you can share it with me. All right. So let's talk about the scope of life coaching. Now, when I started life coaching as a business, I'll be very frank, nobody in my family or friends knew what the hell I'm talking about. Like, I even wrote a post about it a few days back that, my partner thought I was having an identity crisis. And my father thought that I'm having a phase. I'm going through a phase. My father thought, that she has just quit her job. She's going through a phase. And my mother, for the optimist she is, she believed in me, and my friends were confused, and basically nobody knew about life coaching as a career. At least today a lot of people do know, and this is one of the reasons I talk about this a lot. But people did not know, and I'll tell you why people did not know. So you have to understand that as a country, okay, in India, our priorities for a very long time has been very different. So if you know what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is, I think most of you know. If you don't know, you can just Google it. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a very good example that, you know, at the baseline is your survival needs, like your food, shelter, and water. Then comes to safety needs, like the place you're living in, and ensuring that you're secure and safe. Then the third is the relationship needs, that you're married, you have kids, you have good relationships. And then comes that self actualization part, where the personal growth part comes in. Now in India, okay, for a very long time we have had a history of poverty, history of people struggling, history of people just being in that survival mode. So together, all of us did not really have the time to think about personal growth, because we were fighting for our survival. No, our parents were fighting for survival. So that is why something that you will see these days is that even though people have money, even though people are at a comfortable place in life, they still have that very strong survival need. They still are very afraid of losing all their money. They still are very obsessed with what will people think of me, their social reputation, all of that. Still very afraid of investing in themselves, because they're still coming out of that hangover of those survival phase of their parents, right? Which is what intergenerational trauma also addresses. So because our country was so into survival, we never really had the time to think about self actualization. But now the place our country is in, we have come to a point where people's earning capacity and spending capacity both has increased. People are thinking about their personal growth, people are thinking about self actualization, people are asking questions like, what is the meaning of my life, why am I doing what am I doing? People want to be happy and people want to invest in their growth, right? So this, now today when you invest in coaching, today when you become a life coach, you have something called a first movers advantage, which means that you will be capitalizing on a population who wants to spend on their personal growth, who considers mental health as a priority, who values happiness. Because coaching was a very well talked about profession in the US, in the UK, and in the Europe, right? In the West, coaching is a very popular profession. People know everything about coaching, but it was not in India. So coaching is saturated in the West for a like at a high level, but in India it's still not. Okay, in India you still have a first movers advantage, because all of us have come to a point where we are asking questions, what am I doing with my life? Or we want to not be afraid anymore, we don't want to be in the survival phase that our parents were in. So the scope of coaching is incredible right now. When you become a coach right now, you have a first movers advantage, because there is no industry, there is so much scope in the way it is in life coaching specifically, right? The second thing, you must understand that coaching today is still very untapped. Now what do I mean by this? So you may think that there are a lot of coaches, right? Because again, when you go into or when you start researching about becoming an aspiring coach, all you can see is coaches everywhere, and I get that, I also saw that. But here's the thing, there is like a pyramid. Okay, for example, let's say that 100 people are going into getting their coaching certifications. Only 50 people will end up investing in their brain, investing in their personal growth, and actually building a business out of it. Half of them just give up after taking certification. They will either give up on their coaching as a career, or they just have a certification for decoration. Then even less number of people will actually invest in themselves continuously and keep learning. That percentage is just 30%. And even lesser number will be committed, right? So the committed people is hardly 5 to 10%. So you may think that there is a lot of competition, but I will tell you, competition is at the bottom. If you are someone who just wants a certificate and you don't want to invest in yourself, you don't want to invest in your brain and your business, then yes, competition is high for you. But if you are a committed coach, right? If you are someone who wants to play the long game, who wants to be committed to build a life coaching business, who's not afraid of investing in his business and in his brain, who is resourceful, then there is no competition for you. So coaching is a very untapped market, because it is not driven by degrees. Okay, coaching business is driven by your commitment, as well as your courage to be able to invest in yourself, to be able to learn continually. Today we have a very big generation where half of them are either driven by ego, they don't actually want to learn, they think they know everything, and half of them is driven by fear. They don't want to invest in themselves because they're very afraid that, oh my god, I have to invest money in myself, I don't want to do it, right? So if you are someone who does not have that ego, you have the humility to learn, and who's not afraid of investing in himself, you become that rare part of that population, right? And when you're part of that rare part of the population, there is no stopping you. So that is why something I always tell every single time is, not only coaching is an untapped market, there is zero competition for you if you are committed. If you run behind certificates, if you don't want to invest in yourself, yeah, sure, competition for you is high. But if you are committed, you will come in the top 10% of be it revenue wise, or be it impact wise, or be it even popularity wise as a coach very quickly. All right. So this is it from my side for today. I will again see if there are any questions so far, and I will give you guys a couple of minutes in case you do have questions. You can type down in the comments, or you can just DM me simultaneously. And if you don't have any questions, then we will end the session. So I will give you guys a couple of minutes. I can't find the link. Okay, so it's not a question. Someone has said that they can't find the link to join the Empowered Coaches community. You can just find the link in the featured section of my profile. Like, just go to my profile, you'll find the link there itself. Or you can go to the link. There's one more link called Access Free Resources. You can get the link there as well. Or just DM me. You know, that is also okay. I think we don't have any questions so far. When is the training program coming? So, as I said, right, I'm doing the webinar on 22nd of June. So you can just attend the webinar to understand the whole walkthrough of the program. And if it feels like a good fit for you, you can, of course, enroll in. So you just join the Empowered Coach community group and you will know all the information there. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. So I've gotten a few thank yous. They're not really questions. So you're welcome. I hope this session was helpful for you. And in case you have any questions, feel free to DM me. Ask as many questions as you want. The more questions you ask, the more you become closer to the desired reality you actually want. The stupid thing is to not ask questions. The smart thing is to ask questions. Ask them again and again. And no question is, big or small or stupid or smart. The only stupid thing you can do is not ask questions and assume. Don't ever assume, right? Okay, thank you so much for joining. And I will be doing my next live event probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So if you check my profile every day, or if you follow me, you will get the notification. And yeah, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Bye bye.